Pigeon Bodhicitta on page 7 and do the regular Sunday morning prayers going from there straight through to page 37. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and hatred. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan. I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan. I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan. I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean. To you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the sublime community intending virtue I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. From Tushita's hundreds of God's protectors' heart, to tip of this fresh, pure white heap heard like cloud, O Losandrakpa Dharma's omniscient King, pray come to this place with your disciples. In space ahead, on lion throne, lotus and moon, venerable gurus smile brightly with delight. Pray stay hundreds of eons to spread doctrine as supreme merit, field for my mind of faith. Your wisdom mind sees full range of knowables. Your eloquent speech adorns fortunate ears. Your beauteous body, fame, glory, outstanding. Homage to you, worthwhile to think of, hear and see. Pleasant offerings of water, various flowers, fragrant incense, light perfume, and so on. Oceans of offerings set out and envisioned, offered up to you, supreme field of merit, non-virtue committed with body, speech, and mind, which I have heaped up since beginningless time, especially what has contradicted three vows. Each I confess from my heart with strong regret. In time of strife you strove to learn and practice, shunned eight mundane concerns, made life essential. Oh, protect her from depths of our hearts. We rejoice in your powerful great deeds, venerable gurus from love and wisdom. Clouds densely massed in your Dharmakaya sky, pray loose a rain of vast profound Dharma on fields of disciples just as needed. May whatever virtue that I've here gathered bring benefit to all beings and doctrine, and may it make venerable Sangrakpa's essential teaching specially shine forever. Mig meg say waiter chen chen resig, three make yen pei wang po jam pel yang, tu pung malu jom ze sang wei dak, gam chen ke pe su gem Tsongkhapa, san gra pe jabla so wadeb. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus on my crown, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments of body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments common and supreme. O glorious and precious root guru, at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness, until supreme awakening remain steadfast. Homage to the exalted three jewels. Thus have I heard at one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha on Vulture Mountain, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of phenomena called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, was of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, how should a child of the lineage train who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whichever son or daughter of the lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look perfectly like this. Subsequently, looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty without characteristics. That is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomenon. There is no I element and so forth up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and so cessation of ignorance and so forth up to no aging and death and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, and no path. No exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom. And because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the three times by relying on the perfection of wisdom become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering since it is not false should be known as the truth. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Tayata, gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisoha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, a great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, well said, O child of the lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, god-barbers, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. In the holy supreme abode of the Dakinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwaveringly caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the hosts of the three places Dakinis. Tayata, Om, Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisoha. Through the power of truth of the exalted three jewels speech, may all on the side of negativity, such as the four Maras, be stopped. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. All enemies, obstructors, and hindrances, Shanti Kuruye Soha. The 80,000 types of obstructors pacified, freed from adverse harmful conditions, May all be conducive and perfect auspiciousness. Bring happiness and well-being here, right now. Saji Perki Juxing Meito Traham Ri Pabling Ji Nideg Yen Padi Sangye Jindu Mekte Loa Yidrokunam Dag Jing La Chur Pasho Jetsun Lama Dam Pakyenam Ki Churkui Kala Kien Se Trindrigne Jitat Sampe Dulce Zimam Lahazab Gecherki Charpawab Tu So Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami Chodang Soki Chognam La Jang Jubardu Dagni Kyapsuchi Dagi Chernyen Gi Pesonam Ki Chola Penchu Sange Dupasho Chodang Soki Chognam La Jang Jubardu Dagni Kyapsuchi Dagi Chernyen Gi Pesonam Ki Drola Penchu Sange Dupasho Chodang Soki Chognam La Jangju Bardu Dagni Kyapsuchi Dagi Chernyen Gi Pesonam Ki Drola Penchir Sangye Drupasho.
How are you, everyone, today? Good. Today weather is very good. Yesterday very hot. And last night big thunderstorm. I think today is good. Anyway, hi little boys. Hello. Anyway, it is wonderful. We come together to a little bit practice about Buddhism. Then maybe first we try to bring our mind for next to our body. Actually, our body, our mind, therefore, always keep it. Then how much or how many, however our minds go to all the directions, then our what we call activity feeling of happy or feeling of sad, also more. Therefore, it's good to we keep our mind with our body. Anyway, before we do a little bit meditation. Now, meditation has many different kind of meditations. Sometimes you just meditation for some Buddha statue like that. Then sometimes also you meditation your own mind. Also sometimes you different meditation bodhicitta, loving kindness. That means meditation your one of your mind. You make regenerate our part of one mind for bodhicitta. Bodhicitta means what is it's a lot of details but basically the mind, the thinking benefit all sentient beings. Therefore, I have to achieve enlightenment. That kind of mind we call bodhicitta. You generate that kind of mind, you keep the mind, that thought, how much you can. This is, you do every day, day by day, month by month. One day you really generate that kind of mind. Attachment also, we have not all the time we have attachment, right? Some condition, then we generate attachment, then more, right? Exactly the same as angry also. Or angry also, not all the time we have angry. Are you guys angry all the time? No, not. There's some condition, then we generate the angry like that. Therefore, bodhicitta, loving kindness, compassion, that kind is all the mind. This is we have to generate that kind of mind. Okay? Therefore, now our minds just think about tomorrow, think about last week, I have to go home to do shopping. Therefore, even the moment, 2 hours here, then, think about our mind with our body. Then usually when you listen the teaching, even you recite mantra, that time you have to stop. Even you, recite some, or even you do meditation, emptiness, that time you have to stop to the lesson, the teaching. Because our mind always only one, the main mind, manifest. Therefore, we cannot do two things. If you do two, then one is not very good. Right? For example, you eat food. You very focus on the food taste. Then you don't, even you see in many things, you heard that you're not very, what you call it? You're not tasting the food. Yeah, you like taste the food. Even you heard something that you have to, what do you say? This shows our mind is not all the time, every mind is so manifest. Therefore, you like that. Therefore, try to every day to teach our mind. Then Buddhism is the religion of how transfer our mind. Not just Buddha said, have to do that, not like that. Buddha teach us that we have to practice, transform our mind. Our delusions mind, transform to positive mind. What kind of mind manifests makes more unhappy for us. We have to subdue that what kind of mind makes more happy, more comfortable. We have to try that kind of mind, more keep. Okay? Therefore, your best meditation is you meditation to your mind. But it's very difficult. Then you meditation emptiness, sublessness. Then if you had to all them, then meditation for some stupa or some Buddha statue. Keep your mind there. If you have something to teach your mind, more focus on one subject, then you can change the subject to a little more easy. Okay? Then everybody think about on the front of your head here, small Buddha statue like this cursor, not like solid like that. Okay? Then only think about that, okay? At the moment. Also, first you have to think about that. Maybe try to think of your mind, you top of your body, and then start to think that, okay? If we bring our mind try to inside, even not body, but maybe bring this house, the temple, okay? Now first you all think about your head, then the neck, then chest, then big stomach, then thigh, then leg, toes, okay? Now bring back your mind and your heart. Then you focus. Small statue, like, big finger like that. Not too big, like this glass. Front of your mind. Just only think about that. Don't listen to the people circumambulation outside talking that. And also there's Buddha statue has very strong light. Hit your body. And then, like wash, purify all your negative karmas. Then you feel very happy. Then the happy mind transferred to bodhicitta, benefit for all sentient beings. Therefore, I want to achieve enlightenment. That kind of mind, thinking, focus, manifest that kind of mind. Think on the moment. That could be meditation, bodhicitta. Okay, that's good. You guys meditation or just heard the build outside or the talk in the Tibet, Pala Amanas. Anyway, this is, a little bit, many different kind of meditation, try to little bit. Okay. It's okay. Therefore, our mind is very, very powerful, right? And also the mind gives for 3 different feelings. Feeling of happy, feeling of suffering, or feeling of not neutral. So this one, neutral, right? Therefore, that kind of feeling, where they come from, how they, manifest our feeling. We have to think. Our motivation is one of the cause. Or the one cause is our 5 Wangshingasana. Sense consciousness. Sense consciousness, see or hear or something, that any objects outside. And the moment they feel, then our mental consciousness give the name or give the any different kind, names or feeling. Then they makes for us more happy or suffering. I don't know. I think I have to stop my English. 남배 추나라야. 그러. 얘도 이친 지나다 이치도 또 제레스라 그러고서. 열다 일친이잖아. 이치도 또 제레스.
So, Buddhism, we say that among the two, the object and the object possessor, or the mind, that sees the object, the mind is more important.
Tenley 시바들아야 이시도 와시니 베나니야 이시도 도치레스.
Or subject, and here we're referring to the mind. So there are 2 kind of minds, the mental and the sense, the sense consciousness and the mental consciousness. So among these 2, the mental consciousness is more important. The feeling has that 3 types, the good, bad, and the neutral feelings. And so that happens when the sense consciousness perceives the object, and then soon after the sense consciousness perceives the object, the mental consciousness will level it as good, bad, or neutral, and then depending on that, then we'll have a good, bad, or neutral feeling. So like our ear can hear 2 sounds, kind of 2 or 3 different kind of sounds, right? Good sound, bad sound, and neutral sound. So what we hear is a good sound and a bad sound, So when it comes to, when the mind thinks it's a good sound, that's a good sound, it's the mental consciousness. So it hears, the ear consciousness hears, and then mind consciousness thinks, oh, this is a good sound. Is that right? So the one who says, oh, this is a good sound, is the mind. The ear just hears the sound, and it's the mind that says, so this is a good sound. And so then soon after the mind thinks it's a good sound or a bad sound, you know, and then you have that feeling. So when mind thinks it's a good sound, then you feel good. And that's the feeling, good feeling. Then you get the good feeling from that conception, you know, thinking that this is a good sound. And then from that conception, thinking this is a bad sound, then you feel bad. And you have this, the feeling, you generate the bad feeling in your mind.
근데 구선도 배서다 단다 쇼로라 비 들겠다고도 들기자 말이더라고. 배차셔와이나 미지게 소로소라 때려도 먹거나 대거 소소 따스만 가와 얘기를 미지게 소소라 메라도 먹거나 anything 소소를 셈나야 두마게 물어봤어.
So the good sound, bad sound, you know, it depends on the object. That's how you feel about that. You know, sometimes some people say something good about you, so that sounds good to you, right? So then you get a good feeling. When something says bad thing about you or criticizes you, then you feel bad about that, so you get a bad feeling.
다 대기 그놈들이 소두마 대두가 제기 되는 로되게 되는 삼모다네 다한테 지주잖아지 그바다 제가 몸상도는 야 대치 쳇다해도 아니 너도 살다가 가서 뒤따용을 봤어.
And then, when you hear somebody says good or bad things, you can add more on more on that, like we exaggerate, you know, by adding more on that, with different reasons. Oh, he said bad thing today. Oh, he said bad thing yesterday also, and also these things, like adding more and more reason, to get more and more angry or hatred, towards that person. So we've been experiencing these three different kind of feelings, since the time we were born. So this mind, which generates, which generates these three different kind of feeling, is not good. So we have to change that mind.
다 가르치고서나 아주 샘기 소소치라바나 가세 개쳐와 지와 대나시기 다 야보이나야 고치 세발 저 지와 마요와 안에 두자에는 소와 동아 마요와 다 샘기 고 대자 쳔미제스 다 숨무좀라 할래 되더라.
And so how important the mind holds that thing, that you hear or you see and so forth, depending on how important the mind holds, if the mind holds that very important, and then if it's towards a good thing, then you generate more and more happy feeling. From there comes the attachment. And then if you hold more important on the bad things, and that you hear or you see and so forth, things more and more on that, and then that gives you more bad feelings, from which you generate more anger, hatred, and so forth. And so depending on how strong your mind feels about that, how important it also holds about that thing, right? So it is all mind, right? So it's the mental mind, mental consciousness that makes it a big and so forth. So therefore it is very important that we focus on our mental consciousness and try to control it.
이시대 원시도 다 얘들 최고 말was 가상 강화쳐봐도 되게 가상 뭐 가는 통해와 되는 것도 제마도 was 원시 된거한테 이시 된 거로.
So for sense consciousness, for it to rise, it has to meet with its object, right? So like for example, when the ear consciousness hears the sound, that has to be a sound. It can't just hear without a sound, right? So the object sound has to be there for that to be a sense consciousness of hearing. But for the mental consciousness, you don't have to meet with an object. So you can have these different kind of thoughts all the time, right? That's the mental consciousness. What you did yesterday, what you did last year, and so forth. So all these things that you can think about, which you don't have to meet at that moment. And same with the tongue consciousness, so whether the food is tasty or not, and can be cognized only by the tongue meeting with the food.
And then Gandu Lagate, Kala would try the chilling and Takora, the younger than the shit, than Nabit in the Hijaz.
And so it is said that the tongue organ that experiences the taste is on the edge of the tongue, on the tip of the tongue.
True or not? What scientists say? They said not.
There's different parts of your tongue.
Yeah.
There's like different taste buds. And some like do sour, some do sweet, some do bitter. But that's more I
So it says the taste bud, or the organ, the tongue conscious organ is at the edge, of the tongue. But of course, it has to meet with other conditions as well. Yeah, so it's you can't taste it, the food, if it doesn't touch the upper palate. So there has to be food in between the upper palate and the tongue. So if you just leave the food on the tongue, it will not taste it. You will not taste it. But if you when you get contact with the upper palate, then you taste it. Is that right? If you just put the candy here, will you taste it? You have to go like that, right?
Yeah.
So if you just put candy on the tongue here, nothing.
Yeah. Okay. These are the also scientists they're more checking, but the Tibetan Buddhism they explain like that, An example like small also go to the north. Not corona like that. This draw new to say they might go draw
So same with the nose organ, what do you call that nose organ, that experiences smell. And there is a part in the nose that has to come in contact with the smell for it to feel the smell.
Well, that Tenley was in a country, one thing at the Yellow country can enjoy the matter of Tajida. So the Yoda, Pemit.
So we don't think about it, right? Actually, usually, we don't think about it, but it has to. The sense consciousness has to come in contact with the object for it to experience, for it to experience its object.
Tenley by the time she said the Tempati some the cousin got a the thing of the tank was. You'll tell you, man, you see there's something.
So whereas the mental consciousness doesn't have to come in contact with the object for you to experience that object. So it can hold it in its memory. So what you did yesterday, you don't have to see the object today. You saw it yesterday or last year and so forth. You can even remember that, and from that you can generate the mental consciousness.
Oh, then the Nabi Chuna Karavana and the Yeji Shibala and the Shiban Ramana Mamboyores. Shiban the Rig Chadi Yabomare. The Rig Chadi Yabore, the Neda Chang Shiba Yabu Chakayam Bade, that Chang Jeva Tapshore. Yabo might be Chakayam Bade, that Chang Mevaso Tapshore, that didn't Tapshit on them.
So then it explains about, the Buddha's teaching explains about the different kinds of mental consciousnesses. So what are the different kinds of mental consciousnesses there are, and what are good ones, what are bad ones, and how do you generate good ones, and how do you prevent the bad ones, and so forth. So then all the delusions we have in our mind, like attachment, anger, ignorance, pride, jealousy, and so forth, they're all mental consciousness. So the sense consciousness only can help it to generate the attachment, but it doesn't. There's no sense consciousness that is attachment, sense consciousness that is anger.
아니 때 땜바당 아니 슈차용 그래서
And so therefore we should try to study about our mental consciousness, and then see what is good, what is bad, and and then strive or practice to generate good minds and avoid or prevent the bad minds.
그래서 근데 간조 남배 아니 나라 대발아야 뭔지 대발아 이시 대발 니라고 그래서
So then
semje 다 온답도 주지 대발아 뭐네 뭔데스 아니 왕바 넘부지 대발아 아니 다 그러 뭔데 이치도 그러 뭔데도 그래서
뭔데서 이제 뭐라.
알레 신 대화도 왔어 알레 뭔데도 이치 신 대화도 왔니 그래서 와 근데 다 semje 뭐 뚜부지 대화대 근데 뭔데로 왔어 다 신이 대화서 다 로용치 뭐니 냠냠도 대화제데 맞대 봐요 아니 슈차요 그래서
So also we can divide the faith, faith, belief, into two. We can say one is a blind faith, which is like kind of based on a belief, right? And then the other one you can say the faith based on a reason, on a reason. So you understand about it, and then you really know about it, and then you come to believe in that. So you understand, you know, and then you see the reason, and you understand that, and then you come to believe in that. So that kind of belief is very strong. So that's belief, through knowing, So other one belief, just based on your faith, is kind of could be just you somebody said it, and then you just believe in that. You don't see any reason, and you just believe in that, like that.
그래서 저 전도 담보del레 가다 자다 뭔데 임바다 잘했어 자다 뭔데 임바
And so I mean, this is not bad, but it could be dangerous sometime, right? But most of you who came here first at the beginning, maybe you didn't have that understanding, so your faith would be just based on a belief, right?
Right. You heard about Buddhism. Some people, oh, Buddhism is a good something. Oh, Buddha talk about that. Then you just come. And I hope now maybe you have the more understand faith. Now, how much you understand that, you more interest, right?
And so therefore study is very important.
And the tuba maybe gombate lapa menge talanja wal chibara songa.
It is said that if you try to meditate with hard study, then it is just like a person trying to climb a mountain without limbs. A person without hands and legs, can he or she be able to climb a mountain?
Maybe not they use it as some missions, some electricity like that use, but it's difficult. Therefore, first we explain study is very important. Then not just only study, leave that. Also doing the study, you also practice. Practice means what? What books say, what do you learn? Try to do that a little bit. If you do this, maybe you a little bit every day, then you will be better than be best. One day became Enlightenment, Buddha. Therefore, it is, 가래서는 간주고 다 셈면서 간주라 로로 가르쳐야 돼.
So that's because we can make our mind study anything, right?
Right. Now you guys, I believe all of you, you don't need to look that when you're talking. Just something, right? This is how you study, right? I thought I didn't do it because I didn't study. Even I do watch that, just right? I think you guys just something do something like Today is a namzu shipal kari labla kari pa kom chuju reserva kom shiro.
So whatever we want, we can teach our mind, can make it, understand or habituated.
Then that nazo tanda badi sem koranga kari do de ngan chen do de ga nazo chi kadi na tam do cha cha yo de was tendeza kadi na sem koranga ndoya de 야보래도 두잖아. 삼로 땅에 야보 마이나 This starts. Yaboina tell Anju Suzuka and Utuja.
So until now, we've been following our mind. We just did whatever the mind tells us to do, and then because of that, we face so many different kind of problems. So now, through study, we should come to understand what mind to follow and what mind not to follow. So try to see what the mind is generating, what the mind is saying is. If it's a good, then you follow that. If it's a bad, then you don't follow that.
Okay. What that is,
so that's the general information about Buddhism, how to practice Dharma and so forth.
Then also that really depth in the Android is Rawa. Kasam Dingala and the Tanganzo Kanji Mazo Karela Kajin Lojo Shigari, Koa Dangazo Dunga and Ji, turning on the Lojo Shigari was.
And so now going to our study, our text. So the reason why we study Dharma, why we practice Dharma, is because we want to be free from the sufferings, right?
So
why are you studying the Dharma? Are you studying Dharma to be free from suffering, to be happy, or just for fun?
Maybe some people maybe just fun. They like to learn different kind of religions. But most also, we think about something, how become happy, right? How we make our to more happy. Therefore,
so in order to have that kind of happiness, you have to clear the cause for that happiness. Can there be result happiness without the cause of that? So without a cause, can there be a suffering result?
Yes, not. That
is not something created by Buddha. It's the way of life, right? The way things are. So whether you label it as a cause and effect or not, that's how things are. Right? So for something to grow, there has to be something that makes it grow. So so if we do good, we get good. If we do bad, we get bad. That's the way, how things are. And to that, we call, in Buddhism, we call it non-virtuous action, for the bad, and the virtuous action for the good. And then the happiness for the good result, and suffering for the bad result. So whether we label it as a virtuous action or not, or non-virtuous actions or not, it is how things are. So is there something that you can point and say, this is a thing that came into existence without cause and conditions? Can you point at a thing? For example, like binoculars or a telescope, that can see things of very, very far away. And so that has many different kind of parts, right? Pieces like glasses and so forth, and that came together for it to be able to see, or for it to make us to be able to see those objects very, very far away. And so we know that we don't want to have suffering and we want to have happiness, but we don't know how to find that, right? How to find that happiness and how to eradicate that suffering. So for that, we need somebody to show us how to do that, and that's our teacher. So for you to have high degree, school degree, then you need to have a teacher who can teach you, right?
if you want to become doctor, you need to some person to teach you how you become doctor, right? I think maybe all of you are doctor. You're very great. We call it educations. What is about the tongue? And Namju Mandu Ching Jiteki Chipan Shizo is all I am. And that you do metal Itawa and metal Tamukani Tagoya, Tamil go to us.
So even like worldly things that we have to do, we need a teacher to show us how to do, like how to do the gardening. You have to have somebody teach you how to do the gardening, right?
And the Kara is okay. Kara is so go to us.
Same with the cooking, right? So cooking, you have to know somebody. You have to have somebody to show you how to do the cooking.
Then that also kitchen tell it touch your pay music then the Java. That Mutsi Marako then the Tapio that tell again go over.
So we're not talking about those simple things like how to cook, how to garden, and so forth. We're talking about how to achieve everlasting happiness. Such an important thing of like how to achieve everlasting happiness, how to achieve state of enlightenment. For that, definitely we need a teacher, right? So that's because it's very important and very difficult to achieve that, right? So something very difficult to achieve, we need to know how to do that, and to know that we need to have somebody who can show us how to do that. And so if someone were to ask you within these 24 hours, which feeling do you get more? The happy feeling or the sad feeling? Or sufferings or happiness? Which one do you get more? So what would you be able to say?
Maybe I'm happy. Oh, it's good. It's good. That's good. Great. Pashi, get something on the time or something.
So in my thought, I think we have more problems.
maybe 1 day 24, maybe too short. Because 1 week, a lot of things different happen. Maybe 24 hours, maybe 1 day everything's good. You have nothing problem, things fine. Then you maybe say, oh, but it's 1 week. I think we have maybe more problems. Even in that small problem, big problem. If one thing's good, another thing's going wrong, The other country, Tenley, Devati, that country, that nega devara, that then the Dayola, then the Deva Tungi, that Korangi, just Hingi go, that thing of Jaja was.
And so, to achieve that everlasting happiness, so we definitely need somebody who knows about that and who can show us, right?
That thing also number Yashu Sutana, Sanjaki, Shuki, Bendication someday, that Jab Yashore, Yashore is, that Trobo Yashore the Lapo.
And so the best teacher to show us that method to achieve everlasting happiness is the Buddha. And that's the Buddha jewel, and the Dharma, and the Sangha. So those 3 objects of refuge are the best object to show us or to give us the everlasting happiness. And so just like it is said in the text that they are the best object of refuge to take for us to be able to achieve everlasting happiness. Of course, that's what it says in the text, but just because it is said in text, we should not just believe in it. We have to see the reason why they are the worthy object of refuge.
Okay.
And so, in order to know that, then we have to understand what qualities do they have, what excellent qualities do they have for them to be able to protect us and so forth, right? And so, so by knowing their qualities, then you believe in them, and then you take refuge in them. So that's what we did. We studied about all those different qualities of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And so we, then through that we can understand their qualities, and then through that we can take refuge in them. So now, the next one is taking refuge by knowing the differences between the 3 jewels.
아니 배나 상지를 얘네들 누도 모두 상지가 송어든 거 그래서.
So whether the Buddha has that kind of quality or not can be understood by listening to his speech.
그거 먼저 미 단다 줘서 뎁등에 깨라 치워도 주고 가래 뎁들 깨라 치 밑에 깨라 치면 가도 뎁들 같은 거.
So just like a famous writer, is really knowledgeable or not can be known by reading his writings.
그거 근데 이제 그송 물어와 이제 다 강대 송에 가다 물어와래서 좀 그래서.
And so whatever Buddha said is true, therefore we can say the Buddha is true.
다 되게 송 추래. 다 추대야 버려서 추대야 버리는데 추대가 니발았다 그래서 다 니발가는.
Because what Buddha spoke, is a dharma, and the dharma is very good. And so the dharma is good or not, we can check, by looking at its potentials.
그거 맨날 비기 메시아가 지금씩 도와서 비기 지금 비기 나라야 메시아가 니바요로 봐.
So the fire extinguisher, has the power or the potential to extinguish the fire, right?
근데 사제 강소의 추대 냠내지나 대라 나서 면도가 동아대 내가서 니바요래.
So just like that, the Buddha's teaching, has the potential to extinguish all the sufferings.
나한테 간대나 하다는 소리가 오다 간대나 다 되는 추대 가대 속에나 가대가도 신경나가도 삼거려 와서 되는 니바 첨부대 가대 나도 하고 가대 나도 때 냠내지야 나서 나도 지금 찬스 받았어.
So then if we know that, then we might think, when will I be able to practice? When will I be study and practice, such kind of dharma with a great potential like that?
다들 가르쳐는 가도 고대오 가도 학교 남자들 공주 맞아 공주서나 제가 지오요 말하다고 해서 가도.
And so in the Buddha's teaching, he said, don't get angry. If you get angry, you will be not happy.
근데 이바이자 공주 마사와디 가 개와지로 왔어. 주제로 왔어.
So not getting angry is practicing dharma.
근데 이제 공주 마사와다 공주 사회 동안 매와쳐서 와.
And so because you didn't get angry, therefore you eradicated the suffering, that comes from getting angry.
어떤 대주보를 같이 지나서 대주보 말했다. 대배 추주지 빼내려고 이거도 샤워를 왔어.
So that's a simple example. That's not at all.
Okay? Don't think, just that. Some people want to become monk or not. They think, when they become monk, and then some special person, something different. Then when they become monk, if your mind doesn't different, then you're nothing. You just change the cloth. Nothing different. Then they say, that's a monk. Therefore, you guys maybe say that dharma is that don't angry. You say, just that? No, this is just very, very simple, very
So this is something, just a simple example, that's related to our daily life, day-to-day life, right?
Okay? When I'm watching my jays, and the children don't do 10 commandments. Chibaro, they machiwa, they chewing Dunga Young Mada, what did they imagine?
And so it says, don't create non-virtuous actions. So if you don't create non-virtuous actions, then you will not experience the suffering that will come from creating the non-virtuous actions.
What indeed, and Sanji Chula come Dunga de Mewaso Nipayo,
and so Buddha's teaching, which we call Dharma, has the potential to eradicate the sufferings that we don't want to experience. Therefore, it is good to practice that Dharma.
And Gedi said, Tangazu Tindigi Chud Java Roba Check.
And so the Dharma is that, and then Sangha, is someone who has the knowledge, not a full knowledge, but some knowledge of Dharma, which can help us to do our practices. So it will be the doctor who gives the medicine, right? So if someone is sick, the doctor will be the best, to give the medicine.
And then Nasa the doctor
and so the doctor who gives the medicine, is the best person to give the medicine, right? And then the medicine is the one that has the potential to overcome the diseases, right? And then and the best person to help the patient take the medicine and to do other things is the nurse, right?
Right? Therefore, this is the example. Even you sick, this is example for us. But maybe this country, when you sick, they have no medicine. You have cold, maybe stomach ache, fever. They don't have medicine. When you go to India, Nepal, when you have fever, go to the medicine, you buy just. It's all right. Do you went to India? Medicine lot. Maybe you don't take the medicine.
Oh, I did a lot.
You did take that?
I was very sick.
Yeah. But they can cover, immediately, right? But here, if you have very high fever, they don't have medicine. Maybe this country have maybe very serious disease has medicine. Maybe they don't care the small disease. Last week I went to the doctor. He just, oh, you're okay. They don't have any medicine anyway, like that. What in the 가선 딩해랑 간소 다 공주선 그 예대 시외 돈에 간도 잡스 가는 로고 돼. 다 데링 간도 맞다. 콘도 채워로 가까이 여러 스튜디오라 가르쳐 봐.
So last time we studied about taking refuge by knowing their qualities, and now next one is taking refuge by knowing the differences between the three jewels. So let's read this together. It's in outline 195.
Who has text, you can tell them page number.
370 in the blue book. 370.
Thank you.
Or yellow. 142. It's okay. If you have text, you can look. If you don't have text,
Just listen.
just the reason I want to read this. Also, you can make impress. Okay, impress your mind, impress your voice to the read the letter. Also, make them more merit. Okay. Yep. Okay. Now start.
Okay, so there are 6 types of differences. The differences between the characteristics of the three jewels is as follows. Buddha have the characteristics of complete enlightenment. They sparkling, the mode of existence of all phenomena, no matter what. One suspects the silver Jang in Jiangchu, the Tibetan for enlightenment, has the conventional meaning of to train, as in memorizing a piece of to be recited. So one could say the Buddha has achieved the most fully developed realization. The Dharma has the characteristics of being the result of the Dharma's coming. When the Buddha turned the wheel of Dharma for the 4th time, his first disciples developed various realizations in their mind stream, the path of seeing and so forth. The same happened in other situations where Buddha turned the wheel of Dharma. The Sangha has the characteristics of being the practitioner of the Dharma. The differences between the good work of the three jewels is this. The Buddha teaches Dharma by giving the oral transmission. The good work of the Dharma is different. It causes one to abandon the thing, and the Sangha practice the Dharma. And when they gain Dharma's result, the others sees this and engage in these practices. So those who are the Sangha and those who are not together help one another. This is the good work of the Sangha. They manifestly rejoice in virtue. There are different ways of regarding the three jewels when one takes refuge. To rescue someone from the water, for example, you need a boatman, his leather coat, assistants accompanying him. Similarly, one should regard the Buddha as the object of one's offerings and service, and the Dharma as the thing to be made manifest in one's mind stream, and the Sangha as one's true friend. The business associated with the three jewels are the means for putting these 3 different ways of regarding the three jewels in practice. The different way of recalling them are to remember the different qualities of the three jewels. This is explained in the sutra on the recollection of the three jewels in the passage behind. Thus the Bhagavan Buddha. The differences in who is one's married as the follows. With the Buddha, merit increases independence on one person only. With the Sangha, merit increases independence on many people. So in the case of the Buddha and Sangha, merit increases by virtue of person. With the Dharma, the difference is that merit increases by virtue of something impersonal. When you take refuge, you do so because you want to make offering, service the Dharma, and develop the Dharma in your own mind stream.
Okay? Everybody understand? I think all of you understand. 다 준수 하고 나 양에 될 맞지. 양주 자식이 제기 들어와. 아니 단 전일에 저다 공고도 오로 가고 나는 상계 나는 것마시비 샤지벤 전이 전에 가지 추탐쇼 내룩 아니 마드바 아니 다 수술 라벤 잘라서 많이 지바래 했어.
So like it says, the difference between the characteristics of the three jewels is as follows. The Buddha have the characteristic of complete enlightenment. This starkly and unobstructedly perceive the mode of existence of all phenomena, no matter what. Right?
데네다 간제 상제가 내 마고 다다 대선 그 내룩 차상다 간제 응어수지는 막 송사에 들어와. 내 송화대 따다리 만으로 말해 생각을 하고 그래서.
So they says they stuck unobstructedly perceive the mode of existence of all phenomena, no matter what. And so, in other words, Buddha knows everything. Right? So everything as they are, what they exist, how many things they exist, and how things exist, and so forth. So he knows all the past, present, and futures.
근데 이제 게데기 란더 아니 가르치나 가르팽이와 가르치나 가르노기와 등소 아니 차상아 다 싸고 싸장체네 송쇼거든 다그 시드네데 시베가 데네다 가로다 시베게 제주서 거는 나 데네 거요 들어봐.
And so and all the things that is to be abandoned, that are to be cultivated, and so forth. So Buddha knows all those things.
데네다 또바는 탈신 받게 간다. 또바도 탈신 봐. 간증한도 지금 잘하는 나 따뜻히 메디 상치 받나 차동 시비게 잘하고 근데 간지 산지가 마스지다 산지가 빵매야지다 요 말해서 근데 산지 차동 둘 채래서
And so in other words, he says like fully enlightened, right? So he's fully enlightened, which means he knows everything, and like he's talking about the Jang, chub, so Jang means like to train, and so everything that is to be trained, he has completed all those trainings.
다 산지다 들리더래. 다 주사도 가르쳐나 아니 산지가 강상샵에 주다 산지가 가르쳐서나 나도 아니 다 나와서 냠내 라서베 게드고 란들 내 계획에 샤반데 먹기에 샤바도 소말에서까지 내 냠서 람발라 때 내기 그러고 다 게드로 란들 들어서 그러면 돼다 주지에 되는 것들이 주세다 그 관다데 강사 수수지라 제요하기 제주로서 되더라고.
And so the characteristic of the Dharma, is that which helps the people or practitioners to develop the realization in their mind stream.
너 가르나 산지가 강성샵에 추되게 레버레스 추세도 가르나 산지 강성샵에 되게 레버레스 대 냠내 집에 레버 추세도 되레스 배샤나 아니 산지가 까도모 대지 중고 거라 때네 아니 나디젤라 안 통화서 제와데 다 산지가 추세에 레버이가
And so it is the result of the Buddha's teaching. The Dharma is the result of Buddha's teaching. That's one way of saying the Dharma is the result of Buddha's teaching. And so, for example, it talks about the first rule of Dharma, right? So when Buddha first taught the teaching to the first 5 disciples, and then immediately some of them generated the mind of, generated the path of seeing. So the path of seeing that is generated in their mind is the Dharma. So that's how it says, like, the Dharma is the result of Buddha's teaching. And so then also a teacher teaches you saying that, oh, you should not create 10 virtuous action. And so that is just a speech, right? So the actual Dharma is when you develop that mind in your mind stream, thinking that, oh, 10 and virtuous action is not to be created. So when you have that mind, that's the result of the teaching. As you heard the teaching, and then because of that, then you have this mind thinking that I should not create 10 and virtuous action. So that mind which thinks I should not create 10 and virtuous action is the Dharma. And that is the one which is going to protect you from the sufferings. So, for example, some of you might not have any doubt that killing a bug, is a non-virtuous action.
Yes or not?
You didn't have a doubt, right? You said, oh, it's just a bug. It doesn't matter.
It's a bug, right? It doesn't matter.
Right? And so now through studying Dharma, and then teacher explained to you, oh, you should not be killing the bug. Bug is a sentient being. If you kill it, it is a non-virtuous action. So now the teacher has taught you that, and then because of that, now in your mind you say, oh no, I should not be killing a bug. That is the Dharma. And so just like you said, Dharma has the characteristic of being the result of Buddha's coming, so Buddha's teaching, right? And so that's after studying Dharma, when you come to understand that you should not be creating non-virtuous action, that is the Dharma. And so through Buddha's turning of the wheel of Dharma, and this the first five disciples developed realization of the path of seeing and so forth. So that is the Dharma. And then also it has a temporary result, result, and then the ultimate result. The temporary is the temporary happiness of the higher realms, and then the ultimate happiness, and ultimate result is the ultimate happiness of the liberation and enlightenment. So all those comes from Dharma. And so, for example, a person recovering from a disease, is the result of the doctors dispensing the medicine, right? And the Sangha, is a helper, who helps one, to develop that kind of Dharma in one's mind. In that case, as a Sangha, is someone who helps us, so with that characteristic, and we can say, our friends, all the Dharma friends that we have here, who are, because of us coming together, then we can have these ceremonies, the teachings and so forth. So therefore, it's helping each other, right? So you can call that Sangha. So the conventional Sangha would be a group of 4 fully ordained monks or nuns together. And then the actual Sangha will be someone who has a direct realization of emptiness. So, but in this case, when we're talking about the characteristics, the differences of the characteristics, is the Sangha is a Dharma, the Dharma of the teaching taught by the Buddha.
아니 상제대 룸바바바데 추뜸에 상제대 고나다 추뜸에 고나다 잘 배만다 그래서.
And then so that is the differences in terms of the characteristics, right? So now it talks about the differences in terms of the good works, of the three jewels. So the Buddha does the good work by teaching the Dharma, to the disciples.
네. 다 추대 아니 가도 아니 수수 강한 면대하게 강한 면대하게 등하다 빵웨게 니바요스로 빵웨게 저와치는 빵웨 니바요를 메와스미 니바요스.
And then the Dharma has that potential to abandon the sufferings that we don't want to experience and the happiness that we want to experience, and to achieve the happiness that we want to experience.
아니 겐디세야데 드리 겐디기 아니 냠레데 메셴베겐 통화였나? 다 나온데 셰고도 선배 셴바 개발라 르베게 니바요레서.
And then the sanghas do that good work by showing the good example to others. So sanghas, they practice, and then through that, they show that they have these realizations, the calmness of the mind and the happiness and so forth. So by seeing that, then they make others want to practice Dharma also. So that's the good work of sangha.
어떤데자 간지 가도 빼다다 야보레스 게네세데 빼다다 야보.
So sangha is someone who shows you the good example.
내가 텔레다니 안 말씀지 안 되듯이 다 무비 쳐는 다 무만 맞아 왔던데요. 그래서 가로 잡아가르나 배나 와도 출을 파도거나 트레지 저고지 아니 다 소소도 냠도 오고 와서 대다 대패 대전에 다 상제라 아니 님바다 끄듯이 봐. 추 라젤라 안에 있는데 셔봐. 겐달라 투전도 tro셔봐. 대서 냠도 오고 그래서 지금 유니 찍체 말이야.
And so, so then it says a different way of regarding the three jewels. So one regard the Buddha as a protector, and the Dharma as the actual thing that protects us, and the Sangha is the one that helps us to gain that protection.
다 대서 드비 자원은 다 라렌다 와다 됐다. 소소기 냠내 지야 되더라고요.
And then it says the different practices associated with the three jewels.
어듯이 다 지르지 저나 간지 상제 주 겐데 심지다 yen데 제네 점바시 다 점바시네 제나다 텔레카르 때네 소놈 뭐든 yen데 점바시 받아서 yen데 전 고려서
So then so the different practices is the different way ways of regarding the three jewels into practice, and then the different ways of recalling or remembering the three jewels is by remembering their qualities.
아니 상제 주기는 yen데도 점바였나 아니 텔레 대화지 텔레 대화지나 다 라자 yen데 로지가 와서 어디서 대체 정도로.
So if you think of their qualities, then you will develop a faith, and belief in them. And if you have faith in them, then you will want to listen, to their instructions.
어듯이 다 손은 배비 차와나 상제는 강사 찔라 되는 손은 봐봐. 걔는 강사 못 받는 손은 봐봐. 어듯이 됐어.
And then it says again the differences in how the three jewels increase one's merit as follows. With the Buddha, merit increases in dependence on one person only, and with the Sangha, merit increases in dependence on many people.
어디 다 상제들 걔는 강사가 되는 손은 봐봐. 주도 강사 많이 받는 손은 봐봐. 그래서
And it says so the Buddha and Sangha merit increases by virtue of persons. And with the Dharma, the difference is that the merit increases by virtue of something impersonal, means not person.
뭐 다만도 단단들 빼자들 로걸 나가도 냠내고 가르쳐 알아서 만도 지금 니마 지금 소소다 내 제고서도 가르쳐 알아서 나.
So by studying this part, this outline especially, what do you think we gain to practice in one's day life?
Do you get anything? 그래서 나도 내 로조 책이라야 소소라다 니자 책이라야 나도 책 소소 소와라 팸이 냠내도 가려 왕도 내고 와서.
So as we study this, we have to also extract, what we can apply into our practice, into our day-to-day life.
와. 대매와다 너도 로조다 팽이 사자보다 가리 팽이나 가와 팽이나 잘 하고 오면서 나도 지금 그러 봐.
So if it's not something that we can apply, into our daily lives practice, then then it will be just left in a corner, and I don't know whether it will be helpful for us or not.
Tenley is a time de la tene, and Sanji Chu Kenny someday, and it has Suzu Karo. So lam tempo yimba. That Karo, she was Mando. And the Suzu Yamlego to yimba.
And so, by studying this, we should come to understand that we have to take refuge, in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So, without taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, there's no way we can be free from the sufferings. So when we see the Buddha's images or statues and so forth, and we should always bow down to them and make requests to make offerings and so forth. So as I have mentioned this before also, that when you come to the center here, you should always go around the temple. This is the temple, and then the stupa, go around 3 times before you enter into the temple here. And if you don't have the time to do 3 times, at least 1 time, just go around one round, just make 1 round and then come inside here. So just by doing that, the merit, you create so much merit, it cannot be like counted. It's an inconceivable merit.
And the part of the
and then same as you leave also. You circumambulate the gompa, the temple, and the stupa also. So if you can make a time to go around 3 times, that's great. If not, at least 1 time. And so if you do that, then you will be creating merit. Right? So if you create merit, if you have a lot of merit, then you will not be encountering many obstacles. So right now we have so many obstacles. Whatever we try to do, we always face with obstacles. That's because of not having enough merit. So if we have enough merit, a lot of merit, then will not be hindered by these obstacles or spirits and so forth. And so, like for example, the old folks, old Tibetan folks, who are going around the stupa and temple all the time, all day, in terms of the knowledge of the Dharma or understanding of the Dharma, maybe they have less than what you have. But because of their merit, they're always more happy than you are.
I'm not sure. Maybe. Right? Sanjay said you were Sanjay Kuzu to the Yankee. That choose at the Kanji can't talk to Suzu Semyomo one model check. Very true.
So that's taking refuge in the Buddha, and then the taking refuge in Dharma is the practicing Dharma as much as one can.
Okay? And that Gindi said, Kadi Gindi also getting the tournament of Kanji Suzu, Tomu, Choga Jeme. And
then, as a result of taking refuge in the Sangha, one should be harmonious, with all the friends, around oneself, like one's spouse, the partners, husband, wife, or girlfriend, boyfriend, or and the neighbors, and so forth. Being harmonious with all these people.
지기라 기접 거고 다 대링한도 내 냠래 내 로로 저는 대고고 다 지기라 봐 수수 로로 봐라 기접하고 거고 그래.
And especially, one should have respect to each other among the Dharma practitioners.
그리고 룸바델라 다 룸바델 루상카르 바나 초가지메 카트랑도 바지 야샤 dunchu 야샤 야샤 바지 카트랑도 전혀 저러고도 was 에 지기지랑도 기접하고 사람이 따래.
So in this country, you see the rate of the divorcing, up to like 70 or 80%, and so that is the sign that there is no respect, enough respect, between the husbands and wives.
그리고 근데다 무서야돼 파도 주질라 기접사데 무슨 개정 거래.
And so it is very important, to have respect, within each other.
아니 지기질라 기접하나 지기 다 좋은 것도 그러고 대가나 나도 강에 좋은 거 그러고.
And so if you respect each other, then you'll be able to take the defeat or the lost, right? So then you'll be able to, stand side by side.
그래서 다 근데 요데 이 초소들 나게마다 셋단 걸 룸반 내게 밑에 놓아서.
I'm not pointing at anybody individual. I'm just saying in general, that's how it is.
Right? 80%, maybe 70%. 근데 이제 대저한테 미간가 나이 전에 삼도 그런다. 수지 칼랑 나이 전에 삼. 근데 멤버도 그러was.
And so that's because we always, think we are right. So I always think we always think I'm right. That's why then we cannot, take when another person says something, and then that will cause the fire in between.
Right. You know that Tibetan fire, how they make fire? There's something here, they just fire. Stone.
Rubbing two stones.
Yeah. Like the is mila kiship chewa. No path chill, tick chewa de, that's Suzu Najama Chaya, two chills.
And respecting others is very good because that is one of the main cause or main way, of overcoming our pride or arrogance. And prostration is very good for that also because that becomes antidote to the delusion pride. So someone that we don't respect will not make prostrations, right? But if we have respect towards that person, then we will listen to that person, right? So if we respect each other, and then we'll be listening to each other, we'll be harmonious with each other, and that way there will be less and less problem in the world.
Okay, 다 드린 건 내 로조를 가르쳐 그래. 쇼나 수수 샤단 초와 대마주나 내 용을 qabla 꼬라니 있으면 해야 돼. 드리는 냠래 산제치 취세야 돼. 수수질라 뉴목까지 맞추주 아니 개와까지야 맞답답지 게네세야 돼. 파데 치질 기십지야 치질이야 저도 각을 두자라고 하면 되는데 저도 라바야고 먼저 와서 지진수 라바테 가오자 그랬어.
And so as the instruction, or what instruction we should gain from today's study is that we should always make prostrations, to the Buddha's images. Of course, if we see the actual Buddha, no doubt, right? Even the statues, or the images, the Buddha, and circumambulating the holy objects like Buddha's statues that we have in the temple, and the representative of Buddha's holy mind, the statue, the stupas. And outside we have, so circumambulating that. At least, if can, 3 times or more, if not at least 1 time before you come and after you leave. And then as an instruction, of having the Dharma, through the study is to practice Dharma as much as possible. Try to minimize the delusions from one's mind as much as possible. And as an instruction from taking refuge in the Sangha is to always respect each other, listen to each other, respect each other, and be harmonious with each other.
Okay. 대단한 가서 실론 조대시 해야 돼요. 배워서 그러지 않지보다 말다. 간수 남아서 바로 지금 저기 망보 그바지다 망보는 간수 개투설이야 속사하게 제대 되게 돼. 보시면 삼성도 배워 주번을 그러지 않아서 하는 장로도 와서.
So the stupa that we have built for the Tibetans to go around. So Westerners can go around too. So it's for every sentient being. So even the insects, the butterflies, or the moths that call around that creates merit. So it's for all sentient beings to create merit.
어때지? 그래서 내
And so we should all, as long as we are sentient beings, we all should have a lot of merit. So in order to create merit, we should go around and circumambulate these holy objects.
아니 가도는 조매박은 와서 조매봐도 점점 지금 송소가도 한번 배워서요 아마 지금 양아도 지제서 빨리 맞춰 버려도 대를 말해. 조매들 가려서나 나도 용모봐 뜨무거 세야기 그래서
So same with other practice of making offerings of the light, like the candle light. So we have a light offering house out there, which is used only by the Tibetans, right? And maybe 99% only used by the Tibetans. So that's that can be used also by others. So anybody who wants to eradicate the darkness of the ignorance can do the practice of making light offering. So light offering is to increase the wisdom that eliminates the darkness of ignorance.
Okay. 그래서 나도 한 삼삼 가져야 돼. 나도 지제도 제 맞춰와도 배워서 들려 온다. 들려 말해서.
So sometimes maybe people feel like this is Tibet practice done by the Tibetans only. So let them do it.
너도 집어라. 나도 남준 들어가서 나 배웠지 용보다. 배웠어. 또 시제 맞아. 나도 로초 말씀도 용 배웠어.
Maybe same with the Tibetans, right? They don't come to the teachings here.
Yeah.
So they think this is only for the Westerners.
Therefore, 나도 주제해야 돼. 미 차상 샘지 차상 제야로 왔어.
So Dharma practice is to be done by anybody, right? Everybody.
Okay. Okay, you found something to do today's study. First we study, then we do find what we relate for our daily practice. Something was when someone asked me to. It's good to also explain that your book very important, but we need to also what we study, and we need to how you relate for one day's daily practice. What can when you shake the milk, you find the butter inside, right? You guys have any idea how you butter come from? You shake milk, then become butter that we can find. Like that, we study that we need to some essence practice, little short, easy practice. Okay? Okay, then we stop. Any questions? No question? Really? You guys not thought? Okay.
So you talked about creating merit, and but the benefit of the merit usually not come until a following lifetime. And so does creating merit now create the conditions for past merit for life and now? Just kind of something that if we're not getting results, we need to generate more merit. But if we generate more merit now, that probably doesn't ripen until the future lifetime usually. But does it create the conditions for past merit to ripen now?
대체그랬어. 단다 손님 사나 단다 저용어 요래서 동주용질에 사이로스. 단다 저용어 요래 아니 저시마 소주고 되게 강사베고 손님 레버디 저시마다 산지 마도 받는 거나 산지 마도 받는 저용어 요래서.
So yes, answer to the question being whether it serves as a condition. Yes, it does. It can serve as a condition for the past merit, but it's not necessary that the merit that you create here would ripen only in the future life. It's not. So like we talk about when we talk about the karma, karma can be divided into three different kind by the result of the karma experienced. So one experience in this lifetime, one experience very next lifetime, and one experience like in the future lifetime, which can be 3 lifetimes later, or 4 lifetimes, or 100 lifetimes, or 1,000 lifetimes, or 1,000,000 lifetimes later. Yeah, so there are 3 different kind of karma divided in terms of when you will experience the result of that karma. So there is the result of the karma that can be experienced in this very lifetime. So just like that, the merit can be ripened in this very lifetime also. It's not necessary that it doesn't ripen. It can ripen, or it depends on how you dedicate it also. So if you dedicate it for the enlightenment, then the merit will be there until you achieve enlightenment.
Teneda yang jiwa ngama sonum sasha da tanda da tsumaya la yang mgewa ka kap do de na tanda gewa sana anu dikpa ma tanda ani yang nimege let jokum meya ga pengaro.
And so, so if there is, there's like the obstacles I was talking about, obstacles like the non-virtuous actions in our mind that obstructs us from achieving the success and the things that we wish to achieve. Then with the merit, that can, you can get rid of those obstacles and experience the result that you want to experience as a result of the merit that you have created in the past. So that can also serve as a condition.
Peshedan ganzo chi mo ro da dre chi ne chi shawalam do chi ganzo doman do de yong do was tenre tini shawa de yong wala parche tenre ko sonum do sa shawa yanda shawa de yong parche de ko me wa ta ro.
And so like we do pujas in order to overcome the obstacles. So by doing like a Tara puja, you create the merit. By doing that, you create the merit. That merit helps to overcome that obstacle, and that person will be a success in whatever he or she is intending to do.
Okay? Does it make sense? Okay.
Well, I wanted to clarify something. I wrote something down that I may have mistaken, but I wanted to clarify. What I wrote here was, this is earlier, that the mind that generates 3 types of feelings are to be abandoned, because you had talked about, sense consciousness. You hear a sound, and you go, oh, it's awful, and you label that as bad. And then you hear a sound that, oh, wonderful, positive. And then the other one was neutral. So the thing that, if I wrote it down correctly, that's one thing, because to me, the mind that I would like to generate would be the mind that is neutral to it all, that neither hears a sound as positive or negative, and you're just neutral about it. It's like, that to me would be a good mind. But according to what I wrote down, it sounds like that neutral mind is also something to be abandoned. So is that what you meant to say? Because that's not clear to me.
저 some 기와치 얘기 셈디어라. 뒷방구로 쓰고 저 대화도 저 당념도 저 누가 기와치 얘기 셈디어라. 뒷방구로 쓰고 저랑 데려왔어. 또 뭐라서마다 저 대화도 누가 니도 기와치 얘기 셈디도 방구나 저 당념 기와치는 셈디도 방 먹어라. 내가 삼고도 가래놨어. 저런 다 떠들어왔어. 뭐라 티브에 떠들어왔어.
대파지 저 당념 제가 샘파스 파지만 다니도 요 말고 있는 거. 초월할 때는 숨이 요래서. 오늘 나와만 저 당념 쟁에 샘대가 빵고서 파지.
더 저와 대화 기와치는 셈디 방구로 했어.
저 대화 쟁에 지금 답 단단 강도 제와는 나가는 요모장장 제거로 또 빵거 이래.
그래서 저도
봐. 단단 저 대화 쟁에도 다 요모왕 제대로 봤어. 그리고 마치 요모들 대화자 다도 빵고 그래서. 시당 근데 저도 문이 지어진게 상적으로 샘도 샴바도 이제 검 저자 대 빵고 말했어. 만도 소소라에 지금 뭐지 년보지 랍. 근데 저도 가지고 들리도 빵고 그래서 라고.
당연히 그렇게 방금 말았어.
당연히 빵고 말했어.
So yeah, no, Geshe said he meant to say the mind, that gives that generates the feeling, of good and bad because of delusions. So because of the delusion, right? So if you have attachment, to something, and then you see something, and then you feel good about that. So that feeling, the mind which generates that mind of feeling good is not good, and it's because of its attachment, right? So out of attachment. But if you have compassion to somebody, you feel good also, right? If you help somebody, you feel good, right? So that feeling good is good. So the mind that generates that feeling, that kind of feeling good, coming out of compassion or coming out of helping to others, is good. So that you can generate. So you see the difference? So out of attachment, it's not good. The feeling of good that comes out of attachment, right? So that's not good, because that ultimately doesn't bring you really good. But the feeling good that comes out of compassion towards somebody, out of helping to somebody, that brings you good ultimately also. So that feeling is good. That kind of feeling you can generate. The mind that generates that kind of feeling, you can develop that.
Okay.
What about the mind that tries to generate neutrality?
So yeah, neutrals are fine. So neutral is nothing. So it's yeah, it's yeah.
And Tanyum de Dang also lote. Tanyum will lote, give a lot of Makilo. Talo Yaboto, Paka, Jejito, or what go.
So the feeling, the neutral feeling is fine, because it's a variable factor. You can vary it. You can change it any way you want it. You can change it to good. You can change it to bad. So itself doesn't bring anything. So it becomes bad when it changes to the bad, and it becomes good when it changes to good.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, then we stop. Tujiche.
Please turn to page 39 for Thanksgiving mandala offering. Saji perki juxing ne tok tram ri rabling ji ni de gien padi sangye jing du mikte uagi drokun nam dag jing la sher par shu je sun la me kutse rab ten jing nam katrin le chok chug ye padang lo sang ten pedrun me sasum gi dro e mun sel tak tu neg yu chi Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. Tsongkhapa's final lam-rim prayer. From my two collections, vast is space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time. May I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time, with my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread or declined. May I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded course to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all humans who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana of virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. The short, long life prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chen Rezig remain in life till samsara's end. The prayer that spontaneously fulfills all wishes. Tong yi ning je zun du ju pe lam che che sel ze gam chen ten rugen chagna pe mo Tenzin Gyatso La Solwa Debso Jeden Lundru Sho. Page 49, the short long life prayer for Lama Tsopa Rinpoche. Tok so chang jing jam gun gil wei Tenzin kyong pe wei sum kurwe legman tu dru cha dag sok du je gundu jab ten shog. Prayer to fulfill, prayer to meet with perfect teachers, or okay. The prayer to always meet with perfect teachers. Your form embodies all Buddhas. Your nature is that of Vajradhara. You are the root of the three jewels. Homage to you, O Gurus. In short, I seek your blessings, O Protector, to be cared for by you from birth unremittingly throughout all my lives, and thus to become your chief disciple, holding every secret of your body, speech, and mind. O Protector, please grant that all be auspicious for me to be foremost among your very first circle of disciples, wherever you manifest Buddhahood, so that all my temporal and ultimate wishes without exception may be effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Furthermore, in life after life, may I, pleasing him in return, be forever fostered by an accomplished Mahayana spiritual master, the source of every virtue in this world and beyond. In his care, may I acquire in him a firm, unshakable faith, pleasing him by every means possible, doing nothing even for an instant to disappoint. May my spiritual master impart to me every instruction and every teaching in its entirety. Having understood them faultlessly, may I practice them and be able to bring them to perfection. May I never even for a moment fall under the sway of malevolent teachers and misleading friends. Having developed in every life belief in cause and effect, renunciation, the Bodhi mind, and the pure view, may I embark upon them continually. In every life, may every virtuous act gathered by way of body, speech, and mind be causes solely for the welfare of others and for the purest and highest. Page 57, prayer of dedication. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha's state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious Supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Page 75, Ming Sela. Mig made say wei ter chen chen resig dri mei kien pi wang po jam tel yang gang chen ke pei tsu gian Tsongkhapa lo san grag pe jab la so ade. Thank you, Geshe.
Thanks very much, Geshe. Few things today. We have Venerable Sarah coming tomorrow to teach about attachment, what's wrong with attachment, and so the usual 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock slot. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity to come hear her teach. We have Venerable Jampa visiting, our feng shui expert, master, and he will be teaching on Thursday night from 7 till 9, and then over the weekend there's a workshop the Saturday as well as the Sunday from about 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Also is available for personal consultations because there are so many differences in the type of consultation. Email me, spc@kurukulla.org. I'll put you in touch with Venerable Jampa and he will then work with you directly. Yep. There's no Geshe up in the regular. So we just have the workshop from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Okay. Yep, and that leads into Geshe-la's teaching on the 6 perfections up at Milarepa Center. We have folks going up, so if you're interested, just let me know. We'll definitely on a carpool, and that is basically need to be there Thursday night at 5 o'clock all through to Sunday probably like lunchtime, I think just after lunch. Okay, and again, catch me for any questions you may have. Then a reminder, please, our Amazon wish list. Anyone, we have a number of items still on there, and very specifically, we're still looking for sponsorship for our screen doors. We need to replace this one in the back, and then the one at the front door. The kitchens have been replaced. It looks beautifully and it works really well, but we would love to have these replaced. They will be on September 20th. It's not this coming, not next week Saturday, but the week after Saturday. We have the seniors picnic that Geshe-la has for all the seniors from the Tibetan community. And it would be great if you can come give us a hand, stop by with lunchtime, help set up tables, just help serve tea, anything, anytime, just stop by. Would be great help. And that's it. Anything I forgot? No. Good. Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks, Geshe-la.